Hello, dear ones. We have a lunar eclipse on March 25th, 2024. Exciting times. 2 eclipses coming, solar eclipse, and I'll bring an update for that too. But, this is all about activating emotions and releasing patterns of attachments. You could be feeling anxious. You could be feeling under pressure. Things are moving. There's a shifting ground beneath you, but you can't quite put your finger on it. Or maybe there's some issues coming up that you are very well aware of, and they are triggering your emotions. It's a time of surrender. I'm going to give you all the details about this eclipse and what you can do, how you can mitigate this energy, and really what's in it for you. Hi, I'm Prema, and welcome to Chart Your Path. I am so glad that you're here. I so appreciate you subscribing, sharing, commenting. It really helps other people be able to find this information. The lunar eclipse on March 25th is in Virgo in Vedic Astrology. It's in the nakshatra of Hasta, the natural 6th house of the zodiac is what Virgo is, opposing Pisces, the natural 12th house of the zodiac. And for you, this is hitting you somewhere in particular in your own chart. If you don't know what that is, the free chart calculator on my website, link is down below, will give you your ascendant and your moon in Vedic astrology, and then you can make more sense of these updates. There's a great guide that comes with that as well. So some doors are closing and some are opening. There's some much needed change, but change can be unnerving. It's really a time of transformation for us. And the lunar eclipse is a more emotional time. It'll be followed by a solar eclipse on April 8th, the Great American Eclipse. So that one will be a big game changer for shifting our path. This is the prelude to that, the lunar eclipse. It's a partial lunar eclipse. It's a penumbral eclipse. It will be seen in the Americas. It'll be seen in Japan, eastern half of Australia, and Western Europe, part of Africa. If you want to know what time it is for your time zone, just Google it and you'll find it there. But the effects of the eclipse, we're in the eclipse season. You're going to really feel the lunar eclipse a couple days before, the day of, a couple days after. Things come up unexpectedly during eclipse time, and on lunar eclipses, the unexpected things happen more in the moment. Where in the solar eclipse, it shifts your path for the next 6 months. The last time we had the eclipses in this pattern here was 2006. Reflect back on that time. What was going on for you in 2006? As Mark Twain says, history does not repeat itself, but it often rhymes. So what are the themes of your life? Take a moment and really tune into that. What were the themes? You may want to close your eyes, take a moment, journal about that were going on, that you were dealing with, that you were letting go of, what was new that was opening up during that time. There will be a sense and a theme that may be similar during this time, although I guarantee you it will be unexpected, because with this change that eclipses bring, we're being called to release karmic patterns and open up new paths. And it is unexpected. And if it's expected, then it's already in the known. This is the unknown we're dealing with, because these are game changers. They're cosmic triggers. They bring a sense of purification. This lunar eclipse will help us to purify. And especially in Virgo, which is a sign that is very much about health and healing and purification and service. It's a very sensitive placement, earthy and grounded. But this essence of purification, and what does it take to purify? It takes releasing the impurities. And that's exactly what we'll be doing in the full moon healing circle on March 25th. The link is down below for that. And we will be doing a great activation to clear our path for the new unexpected shift in our direction, creating what it is our heart really desires, releasing those patterns and the old karmic debris that is keeping us from that, and surrendering it in a very graceful way. So the lunar eclipse is where it's working with our consciousness, and it is the moon, which is a full moon, and that's the queen, and we're dealing with the energy of a full moon. And it's eclipsed. So the queen, and this is a K2 eclipse, the mystic, the south node of the moon. which is opposite the sun, the great king, and the magician up in Pisces. And that's what's creating this eclipse. Now, the K2 eclipse is the mystic is always asking us to relinquish. It is about the past. It is about, our karmas from the past. And the south node of the moon with the moon here, it can really bring in this sense of isolation sometimes, even loneliness. It has the ability to laser in really deep on things. So you have to also be careful of that and make sure we pull back and get a bigger view where we are feeling like we're just too pinpointed on something, because then we just don't see the big picture. So keeping the big picture in mind with this lunar eclipse is very useful. The south node of the moon, K2, wants us to it wants us to release, relinquish, and let go. It's the process of evolution. We must take the patterns, the things, the relationships, the beliefs, and dissolve them back into energy, involution, and that's more the north node of the moon, more the magician. With the solar eclipse is where we take energy and we bring it into form. So with this emotional clearing, with this time, K2 asks us to be very detached from our material world. And that is what the spiritual path is remembering that, this is the world in front of our eyes is ephemeral. It's all passing. And K2 wants us to remind us that, our spiritual path is found within ourselves. And it brings up and touches on this eclipse on those deep-seated emotional wounds that keep us from our heart's desires, So whether it's the relationship you're hanging on to, or the part of your business that you're hanging on to, the job that you're hanging on to, or the belief you're not good enough that you're hanging on to, or, whatever it might be, this keeps you from being presently who you are and allowing you to move forward on that path instead of cycling in the old pattern. I'm going to give you the remedies for these unresolved issues that may come up from the past during this time. But we want to resolve those so that we can start something new. We'll be activating, those emotions, and we want to activate a clearer pathway so that we're open and willing to walk down the new path that the solar eclipse is going to open for us. The opposite of this is the 12th house, Pisces, which is all about transcendence and spirituality. It is a place that's the end of the zodiac where we're dissolving back into oneness. And Pisces is a water sign. Virgo is an earth sign. They work very well together. Those opposites, they support each other. But we have to be careful with the energy of Pisces that is activated here. And Mercury is in Pisces and soon to retrograde. Talk about that in just a moment. That we don't just check out during this time. That we don't get off into fantasy or illusion and delusion, because that Piscean energy with the eclipse pattern, the opposite of where the lunar eclipse is happening, can make that happen for us. It can pull us out of reality in the shadow way, which is checking out, whether you're binging, whether you're gaming too much, drinking too much, whatever it might be, or just living in some fantasy reality. This is a deeply spiritual time. You are being called to really drop in, to really tune in, spend time in meditation, do your release work, which is exactly what we'll be doing in the full moon healing circle. Heal and let go of, and journal during this time. I'll give you some more remedies, but this is a great spiritual opening where there's insights that can really drop in for you. So be careful of that, pull to drink a little too much, get involved in things that occupy your mind in ways that create drama and complication, because that's going to manifest in some way. I'm also doing eclipse readings. I have a special half off offer just during this eclipse time. So I encourage you to grab one if you really want to know how is this playing out in your chart, because it's not just the eclipses where they are. It's what is the cycle you're running, what are the planets that are involved for you personally, what are these areas of life. When we know what the changes will affect in our life, we can strategize better. So the link is down below for that as well. So collectively, there'll be potentially new discoveries around health and healing medicines, but there could also be, and healing modalities, but there could also be some kind of health crisis or scare. So really research your information and make sure you're not getting hooked into things that are fear-based, because these eclipses can bring up that collective fear for sure, because emotions will be really running high. And you need to manage your emotions by staying grounded, by understanding what your path and purpose is, so you can keep aligning yourself and making choices to that, so your emotions don't get a hold of you. Mercury during this eclipse pattern is very important, because Mercury, our great communicator, it's also the messenger, especially in Pisces, because Mercury goes beyond the sun, and there's messages that we don't even know where Mercury goes that come in from the other side. And it also rules business, the merchant, and money and finances. It is in Gandanta, right at the end of Pisces during this eclipse. And then it will also be retrograding starting April 1st. More on that in my April update, so make sure you're subscribed for that so you don't miss that. Gandanta means the ending of a karmic knot. It is the end of a cycle. It gives us a sense of sort of out of control, like drowning. So Mercury is also debilitated in this placement in Virgo. I talk about that a lot in my March update, so you can also watch that video. And it's not really allowing our logical minds to work really well. It's not a great placement for Mercury. We have to rely on our intuition and not so much rely on weighing things out logically. We have to stay connected to the big picture. If you can defer really big decisions, defer them again till after the eclipses have passed. If you have to make a decision, get really present. Maybe get some counsel on that. And if you're clear, go for it. If you are not, get the counsel you need, trusted counsel, so that you can really make the best decision you can, because this can be a pretty confusing time, which causes restlessness and anxiety. So watch out for that. It's also a great time of breakthroughs, and that breakthrough, that ending, that thing that's falling away, let it fall away. So if there's something that you're really counting on, or you just, and it's just not happening for you, or you've lost your juice for it, whether it was something around your home, or whether it was something in your business, just in a relationship. Hey, if it's falling away, let it go. Keep an open hand. Surrender. This lunar eclipse is so much about surrender. Surrender is not giving yourself up. It's giving yourself up to the divine, or giving something up to the higher power to handle the details. Hasta, the nakshatra this is in Virgo, is a very quick and swift nakshatra. It can sweep things away very quickly, and it can bring them into fruition very quickly if we're willing to open up. Connect with your true intentions on what your heart's desires are. Be really connected to that. It's probably changing during this time in the areas of life that this is affecting for you. Stay spiritually focused. Spiritually focused is being open, being surrender, have some kind of spiritual practice, whatever that is for you. Get out in nature, stay grounded. This Hasta nakshatra is powerful for manifesting. It's represented by the hand. It also is represented by the rising sun god Salvatore, and it brings an energy of creativity that we express with our hand, the things we do and manifest, that we create. And think about it, so much you create with your hands through the work that you do in the world, through cooking and gardening and crafts and writing and healing practices. All of those will really help to bring things into fruition. So how can you play with those things, use those things during this time? We'll be bringing some some, journaling practices into the full moon healing circle, again, to honor this energy. And it'll be interesting to see what comes up for you during this time. So blocks can very much be released so that you're opening your pathway to the material gains that you are ready for. Communication with this Mercury aspect can be kind of wonky. So what I want to invite you to do is listen, really listen deeply, not respond right away. The global communication could definitely be out of whack. So can the weather during this time. Watch out for projections, misinterpretations. If you breathe before you talk, if you have the intention of speaking from your heart and assessing things, give yourself a little bit of time, really sit with your intuition, and that will help tremendously. K2, the south node of the moon, again, brings things up from the past. So just be aware of that and what is wanting to be released during this time. Old patterns want to be let go of. Pay attention to your dreams with Rahu. The magician in Pisces is really going to be creative for our dreams. So, writing your dreams down can be very, very useful. Mars, Venus, and Saturn are going to all be together in Aquarius during this time, creating a little bit of friction and frustration between our relationships and feeling limited in our connections, and Mars kind of just frustrated getting things done or argumentative. Keep a check on that. Have good boundaries. Watch out for being a martyr in things. That's the shadow side of Venus. And, Mars sometimes just likes to get pissed off. So just make sure you're staying very grounded, exercise, and have some patience. Saturn's always showing us our limits and limits in the physical world. But what we're willing to relinquish as far as those limitations go and lean on the energetic side of ourselves, then we can move forward in great ways. But it has to be energetically first. So keep your schedule light. If you're really scheduled during this time, you're likely to be more stressed. So, no big business launches. If you have to travel, give yourself more time. If you don't have to travel, stay closer to home during this time. Be very cognizant of adding extra pressure to your schedule or to your life that you don't need to do. Really important. Because if you have space and time, you can make better decisions. Be grounded. Get outside. Do your, yoga makes me feel incredibly grounded. I walk in nature every day. These are my things. You do what works for you. Exercise helps you to be grounded. Know where your core is. Feel strong. Breathe down into your center. This is a great time for breath work. Breath work can help you feel very grounded. So grounded within your body, not grounded into the matrix, grounded into your own spirituality, into your heart. What's your spiritual practice? You want to be able to really recommit if you haven't, or commit to your spiritual practice. Great insights can come in during this time. Be open for them. Give yourself more time for meditation, journaling, breath work, chanting. And even just simply Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, the Ganesh chant, removing obstacles. But Hanuman, any of the chants, Om Namah Shivaya, super, super powerful. We always do chanting in the full moon healing circles along with sound healing as well. Any release work, I have a lot of that in my programs. We do a lot of release work, and we do that in the full moon healing circles as well. And take urgency off your plate. If you're feeling something's really urgent, really check into it, because it may not be, and it'll cause you to move from fear. There's lots going on in the world. Do your best to stay unplugged from the things that you don't need to be plugged into. We were never meant to process all the information that we do, and that all distracts us from what we really need to pay attention to. So at least our spiritual practice can bring us back to that day after day. So I so appreciate you. I would love to have you comment. Let me know what's resonating for you, what's coming up for you during this very interesting time. Come join me in the Full Moon Healing Circle. So if you're really prepared to tap into, the power of all this transformation, and, we're going to really immerse ourselves in some really comforting frequencies, allowing for renewal and release of patterns, and to activate the new path we want to step into, so that we can really manifest and create from a place that's aligned but open to the new opportunities that are coming to us. The link is down below for the healing circle. Please subscribe if you haven't. Share this around. Again, it helps to get the information out. And I so appreciate you being here. And if you want to know more, of course, the link for the eclipse readings and all of my readings are down below in the description. And I'd love to shed some more light on your soul blueprint for you. All right, so much love to you.